The president's first round of auto tariffs start tomorrow, and that will mean a 25% tax on car imports. That likely leads to higher prices for you, the consumer.
Dealers are panicking right now. Overnight, the markups that used to add $8,000 to every new truck just vanished. New laws in over a dozen states are forcing total transparency. And for the next 60 days, buyers who know the rules will save thousands. If you walk in blind, you'll still pay the old prices. So in this video, I'll show you exactly how to flip the script, use the law in your favor, and turn dealer panic into your leverage before this short window closes. The $7,000 ambush. Dealerships across 17 states are quietly shutting down negotiation rooms and shredding addendum sheets. Not because business is slow, but because new legislation just made their most profitable trick illegal overnight. In less than 90 days, the average markup on new trucks and SUVs dropped from $8,500 to $1,200. That's not a market correction. That's a forced reset, and the dealers fighting it are losing in court. The laws don't just cap fees. They expose every hidden charge in real time, force itemized digital contracts, and give buyers the nuclear option. Walk away with zero penalty if a single line item doesn't match the advertised price. But here's the twist nobody's talking about. The dealers aren't the only ones panicking. Manufacturers are scrambling to rewrite franchise agreements. Lenders are recalculating approval algorithms, and state legislators in 12 more states are fast-tracking copycat bills. This isn't just about transparency. It's about who controls the transaction. And for the first time in a century, the power just shifted. The dealership model survived the internet, survived factory direct sales attempts, survived everything the market threw at it. But these laws are different. They're not attacking the dealership. They're attacking the profit structure that kept dealerships alive through thin inventory and rising costs. And that's why the panic is real. The 30-day trap window. Here's what happens if you don't understand these laws before walking onto a lot in the next 30 days. First, you lose leverage. Dealers in non-regulated states are now coaching buyers to cross state lines, literally marketing no-law zones where the old game still works. They're offering free delivery, free tank of fuel, even covering your Uber, anything to get you to sign in a state where market adjustments, dock fees, and forced add-ons are still legal. Second, you miss the narrow window where dealers are desperate to move inventory before the laws expand. Right now, in states like Colorado, Massachusetts, and Oregon, dealerships are sitting on 60 to 90 days of unsold stock. Trucks and SUVs they can't move at pre-law prices. That's your negotiation goldmine, but only if you know the new legal playbook. Third, if you're financing, the back-end markup just became visible. Dealers used to bury 2 to 3 points in your interest rate and pocket the difference. Now, in regulated states, they have to disclose it. That's $1,800 to $4,000 you can claw back, but only if you ask for the itemized reserve breakdown. The dealers know exactly who's educated and who's not, and they're profiling you the second you walk through the door. If you like knowing more than the dealer sitting across the desk, subscribe. I'll keep showing you the exact tools and laws that flip the power back to you. 3 receipts that expose everything. Let's talk about the 3 receipts. Real transactions, same vehicle, 3 different states, closed in the last 45 days. In Colorado, where the new law is active, a 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat with an MSRP of $62,800 sold for $63,500 out the door. Market adjustment was 0. Dock fee was capped at $224 by state law. Dealer prep was itemized and challenged, reduced from $895 to 0 after the buyer cited statute. That's $700 over MSRP, and the buyer had written proof the dealer couldn't charge more. In Texas, where there's no law, the identical truck sold for $72,300. Market adjustment was $5,000. Dock fee was $698. Dealer-installed accessories like door guards, nitrogen tire fill, and VN etching added $2,240. A non-negotiable reconditioning fee added $850. That's $9,500 over MSRP, and the buyer had no legal recourse. In Massachusetts, with partial law protection, the same truck went for $66,200. Market adjustment was disclosed but legal at $3,000. Dock fee was capped at $75. Add-ons were optional and removable by law. The buyer declined them. 3 trucks, 3 states, a $12,000 spread. The border war. Nobody's talking about. These laws don't protect everyone equally, and that's by design. Protected buyers live in Colorado, Massachusetts, Oregon, Washington, Connecticut, Maine, and New York. If you're buying a new vehicle here, you've got line item veto power, capped fees, and mandatory digital contracts that can't be altered after you leave the showroom. Best protected are fleet buyers and cash purchasers. The laws give them audit rights. They can demand a breakdown of every margin, every holdback, every incentive the dealer received from the manufacturer. That's leverage most dealers have never faced. Partially protected buyers are in California, Illinois, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Minnesota, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida. Bills are in committee right now. If you're in these states, dealers are in limbo. Some are already adopting the reforms voluntarily to avoid lawsuits. Others are fighting hard and doubling down on old tactics before the window closes. Unprotected buyers are in Texas, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, Alabama, Louisiana, Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana, the Dakotas, and most of the South. Here, it's still the Wild West. Dealers are advertising their lack of regulation, no price caps, no government interference, just old-fashioned negotiation. And here's the kicker. If you live in a protected state but buy in an unprotected one, the dealer's state law wins. $47 million in hidden theft. The panic didn't start with the laws. It started 18 months ago, when a Colorado class action lawsuit forced a dealership network to open their books. Here's what the audit revealed. Over a 3-year period, one dealership group collected $47 million in undisclosed fees, market adjustments, reconditioning, dealer-installed accessories that were never installed. The average customer paid $6,200 in fees that weren't on the advertised price and had no legal way to challenge them. The judge didn't just rule in favor of the plaintiffs. He called the practices systematized deception and referred the case to the state attorney general. That referral triggered legislative hearings, and when lawmakers deposed dealership finance managers under oath, the story got worse. One manager admitted they were trained to bury reserve points in loans, to pitch extended warranties with 60% commission margins, and to use time pressure tactics, keeping buyers in the finance office for 90 minutes until they were too exhausted to read. Another testified that dealerships tracked which buyers researched online, and if you walked in with a printout of MSRP and incentives, you were flagged as educated and sent to a senior closer trained to flip the conversation. Manufacturers stayed quiet. They benefit from the markup because higher transaction prices mean higher brand value. When transparency became weaponized, here's how the system collapsed. Colorado's law required dealers to provide a single-page, itemized breakdown of every charge before any negotiation. No more "we'll get to that later," or "that's just how we do it." If it's not on the sheet, you don't pay it. Result? Average transaction times dropped from 4 hours to 90 minutes. Buyers could see the markup and walk if it was unreasonable. Dealers lost their time pressure weapon. Doc fees, the administrative costs of processing paperwork, were running as high as $1,200 in some states. Massachusetts capped them at $75. Oregon at $150, Colorado at $224. Dealers argued this would kill their margins. State data proved otherwise. Dealerships in capped states saw profits drop 8% in year 1, then recover fully by year 2 as they shifted to volume sales instead of per-unit extraction. The laws made every add-on optional and required dealers to disclose cost versus price. A $2 bottle of nitrogen to inflate your tires for life, priced at $199. VIN etching that costs $7, priced at $395, gap insurance that costs the dealer $90, sold for $850. When buyers saw the margin, they declined. Add-on revenue collapsed 42% in regulated states, and dealers had no plan. The invoice-minus strategy. If you're buying in the next 60 days, here's the playbook. Target overstocked mid-size trucks in protected states like Colorado, Massachusetts, and Oregon. Dealers are sitting on 70 to 90 days of Tacomas, Colorados, and Rangers. They can't move them at old prices, and new model year inventory is arriving. Target a 2024 leftover. Walk in pre-approved at 4.2%, with the MSRP breakdown printed, and tell them exactly what you know. Say you see they've got 68 days of Tacoma inventory, you know the doc fee is capped at $224, and you'll pay invoice minus incentives out the door today, if they can do it in 90 minutes. Why does this work? You've removed every delay tactic. You've cited the law, the inventory age, and the time limit. Dealers in protected states hate long negotiations now. They'd rather move metal than fight. Your target number should be invoice minus $500 to $1,000. Incentives are running $2,000 to $4,000. Right now on leftover trucks. Second Smart Play is certified pre-owned luxury vehicles in transition states like California, Illinois, and Virginia. Laws are pending. Dealers are scared. CPO vehicles have lower margins and higher turnover pressure. A 2022 BMW X5 or Audi Q7 is depreciating fast, and dealers need them gone. The EV markup slaughter. Now let's talk about what to avoid. Brand new high-demand EVs in unprotected states are a markup massacre. Texas, Florida, Tennessee. If you're buying a Lightning, a Rivian, or a Hummer EV in a non-regulated state, you're walking into a trap. These vehicles have wait lists, and dealers know it. Market adjustments are running $15,000 to $30,000, and you have no legal leverage. Wait 60 days. Demand is softening, inventory is rising, and 2 more states may pass laws by then. If you must buy now, cross into a protected state, or go direct with manufacturers like Rivian, Tesla, or Polestar. Second avoid is dealer-arranged financing in any state. Even in regulated states, dealers can still mark up your interest rate unless you demand the buy rate disclosure. Here's how it works. The bank approves you at 4.8%. The dealer quotes 6.2% and pockets the difference. 1.4% over the life of a 72-month loan on a $60,000 truck is $4,100 in pure profit for them. In protected states, ask for the reserve breakdown. In unprotected states, bring your own financing or tell them you're pre-approved at 4.5%, and if they can beat it, show you the buy rate and the reserve. Most dealers won't fight. Your target number for financing should be buy rate plus 0.5% maximum. The job loss lie exposed. You've probably heard dealers say these laws are going to kill small dealerships and destroy jobs. That's the lobby talking point, and it's half true, which makes it dangerous. Here's the fact. In Colorado, 11 dealerships closed in the first year after the law passed. The dealer associations ran ads claiming the law destroyed local business. But here's what they didn't say. 9 of those 11 were part of a single consolidation. A national dealer group bought them, merged the inventory, and ran them as satellite locations with lower overhead. 2 were independent stores that couldn't compete on volume. Total jobs lost? 68 total jobs created by the surviving dealerships ramping up volume? 142. The real story? The law didn't kill dealerships. It killed the low-volume, high-margin model. Stores that relied on extracting $8,000 per deal couldn't survive when customers could see the extraction. Stores that pivoted to volume and service, selling more vehicles at lower margins and making profit on repeat business and service bays, thrived. And here's the kicker. Customer satisfaction scores in protected states jumped 22%. Repeat buyers increased 19%. The dealers who adapted are making more money now than before. They just had to change the game. But the real question isn't whether the laws work. It's whether buyers are smart enough to use them. The QR code that changed everything. Let's talk about why these laws are so disruptive. And it's not just about price transparency. It's about control of the contract. Under the old system, here's how a deal closed. You negotiate the price, you agree, you shake hands. Then you go to the finance office, and that's where the contract changes. The finance manager adds fees, adjusts trade-in values, restructures the loan, and presents a final number that's $2,000 to $4,000 higher than what you agreed on the lot. By that point, you've been there 3 hours. You're exhausted. Your trade-in is already being prepped. The sales manager says we can't undo the process now. So you sign? The new laws ban that practice in protected states. Digital contract mandates require every charge to be entered into a state-verified system before you sit down. The system generates a single contract with a unique QR code. Any change to the contract generates a new QR code and requires your electronic signature on the specific line item that changed. If the dealer tries to add a fee in the finance office, the system flags it. You get an alert on your phone if you scanned the QR code earlier. You can decline the change, and the contract reverts to the previous version. Why does this terrify dealers? They can't use time pressure anymore. They can't bury fees in 50 pages of paperwork. The 15-mile loophole. Here's the loophole. The digital contract systems only work in-state. If you live in Colorado but buy in Wyoming, Wyoming's law applies. Even if you register the vehicle in Colorado, the dealer can use the old paper system, bury the fees, and you have no legal recourse unless you sue in Wyoming court. Dealers figured this out fast. Within 6 months of Colorado's law passing, dealerships in Cheyenne, 15 miles from the border, started running ads in Denver. No price caps, no government paperwork, just old-fashioned deals. They're offering free delivery to Colorado. They're offering to handle your registration. They're even offering to buy your trade-in at Colorado prices to make the math work. And it's working. Colorado dealers report 12% of their walk-ins now mention just driving to Wyoming. But here's the twist. Those Wyoming dealers are taking advantage of Colorado buyers in ways that would be illegal back home. Market adjustments in Cheyenne are averaging $6,200, nearly double what they were before the law. Why? Because they know. Colorado buyers are crossing the border to avoid regulation, so they're charging desperation premiums. The fix? Interstate compact legislation. Massachusetts and Connecticut just signed one. If you're a resident of either state, your state's law follows you. Even if you buy across state lines, the dealer has to comply with your home state's regulations, or the deal is voidable within 30 days. The fleet buyer gold mine. If you're a tradesperson, fleet buyer, or contractor buying work trucks, these laws just changed your entire business model, and most of you don't even know it yet. Here's why. Work trucks like F-250s, Silverado 2500s, and Ram 2500s have the highest dealer margins in the industry. Why? Because businesses write them off. Contractors don't negotiate as hard because it's a tax deduction anyway. Dealers know this. Fleet departments charge 8 to 12% over invoice on work trucks, nearly double the margin on consumer trucks. But in protected states, you can now audit those margins. If you're buying 3 or more vehicles, you have the right to request the fleet incentive breakdown. That's the rebate the dealer gets from the manufacturer for volume sales, and it's often $3,000 to $5,000 per truck. Tell them you're buying 4 F-250s, you want the fleet incentive disclosure and the holdback breakdown, and if they can't provide it, you'll take your purchase order to a protected state dealer who will. One contractor in Oregon said exactly that, and saved $19,000 on a 4-truck order. The dealer was charging $4,700 per truck over invoice. After the disclosure, they dropped to $800 over. That's the difference between a $63,000 out-the-door price and a $59,000 price per truck. 4 trucks, $19,000 saved. The 90-minute close protocol. Here's your 3-path decision tree. Choose based on where you live and what you're buying. If you live in a protected state like Colorado, Massachusetts, Oregon, Washington, Connecticut, Maine, or New York, start by researching your target vehicle on the state's transparency portal. Colorado has one. Massachusetts is launching one in 60 days. Look up average transaction price in your zip code, dealer incentive breakdown, and doc fee cap. Get pre-approved financing before you walk onto the lot. Use a credit union or online lender and lock your rate. Walk in with a printed breakdown of MSRP, incentives, and your target out-the-door price. Tell them you're looking at the vehicle. State the MSRP and incentives total. Remind them the doc fee is capped. Tell them you're pre-approved at your rate, and you'll pay your target price out the door today if you can close in 90 minutes. If they counter, ask for the itemized breakdown. The law requires it. If they refuse, walk. Legally, they have to provide it. Review the digital contract before signing. Scan the QR code. Verify every line item. If something doesn't match, decline the change. Your target close time is 90 minutes or less. If you live in a transition state where legislation is pending, call 3 dealerships and ask if they're voluntarily adopting the new transparency rules. The Unprotected State Survival Guide. If you live in an unprotected state, this is the hardest path, but you're not powerless. Shop across state lines. If you're within 200 miles of a protected state, make the drive. Yes, you'll pay sales tax in your home state when you register, but you'll save $5,000 to $8,000 in avoided fees and markups. The math works. If you can't cross state lines, use the protected state approach anyway. Dealers in unprotected states are watching the laws spread. They know they're next. If you walk in sounding educated, citing transparency requirements, and demanding breakdowns, many will comply voluntarily just to avoid bad reviews and social media exposure. Record the negotiation if legal in your state. 12 states allow one-party consent recording. If you're in one, put your phone on the table, tell them you're recording for your records, and watch the sales tactics disappear. Dealers don't want their fee-stacking strategies on tape. Use the 24-hour cooling-off approach. Tell them you're interested, but you don't sign same day. You'll take the breakdown home, review it, and come back tomorrow if it's fair. If they panic and start adding pressure, you've just learned everything you need to know. Before you sign, verify the VIN matches title and registration, Carfax shows no open recalls, tire tread depth passes the penny test, brake pads look thick, fluid levels look right, undercarriage has no serious rust. 4 numbers that save thousands. Here's what you need to remember. In protected states, average markups dropped from $8,500 to $1,200. In unprotected states, markups are rising because dealers are charging more because they can. If you're in a protected state, you've got leverage. If you're not, cross state lines or wait for the law. 7 states have active laws right now. 12 states have pending legislation. Everyone else is unprotected. But that's changing fast. The next 60 days is the golden window. Dealers in protected states are sitting on 60 to 90 days of inventory they can't move at old prices. Dealers in transition states are terrified of bad press before the laws pass. Dealers in unprotected states are overconfident, but if you sound educated, they'll negotiate. If you're buying, use the three-path decision tree. Know your state's status. Bring pre-approved financing. Demand itemized breakdowns. Walk if they refuse. And never sign same day unless you're in a protected state with a digital contract you've fully reviewed. If you're waiting, watch for interstate compact legislation. If your state signs one, the cross-state loophole dies, and your leverage doubles. The dealers who adapt and embrace transparency will survive. The ones who fight will close, and you get to decide which ones win by where you spend your money and how educated you walk onto that lot. The 37-day countdown. The interstate compact vote happens in California in 37 days. If it passes, the game changes nationwide. Here's why that matters. California represents the largest automotive market in the United States. When California moves, manufacturers move. When manufacturers move, dealerships across the country have to adapt or die. The compact would mean that any California resident buying a vehicle in Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, or any other state would be protected by California law, even on the dealer's lot in another state. Dealers in border states are lobbying hard against it. They know what's coming. If the compact passes, their entire cross-state recruitment strategy collapses. They can't lure California buyers with promises of no regulation, because California regulation would follow them. And if California passes it, Oregon and Washington will follow within 90 days, then Illinois, then New York within a year. You're looking at a regional block of 15 states where your home state protection travels with you. That's the endgame the dealership lobby is terrified of. Not just transparency in individual states, but a coordinated system where educated buyers have leverage everywhere. The vote is in 37 days. If it passes, I'll break it down the day it happens. If it fails, I'll show you the backup strategy. Either way, the fight isn't over. It's just beginning, and you're on the winning side if you stay educated. If this video just saved you $5,000 or more, or if it showed you a legal strategy you didn't know existed, hit subscribe. Drop your state, your target vehicle, and your target out-the-door price in the comments. I'll pin the best strategies, and if you're in a protected state, I'll tell you exactly what to say. If you're in an unprotected state and you just closed a deal, tell us your price and your tactics. Real wins get featured in the next video, and your comment might save someone $8,000. And if you're a dealer watching this, I respect the ones who are adapting. The laws aren't going away. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.